Next is scaling, or scaling using scaling matrix for 2D coordinates. So how to do that? It's super simple. We have a point P here. If you want to scale it to P prime, we're going to use scale at X or SY in different direction. So X prime can be determined by this formula, and Y prime can be determined by this formula. But we can also using matrix notation by defining the scaling or scalar as a matrix or as a scaling matrix like this. So S is equal to a 2 by 2 matrix for 2D coordinates. Then we have Sx and then 0 and then 0 and Sy. So let's try with an example in Python. Here we use matrix notation. We import Numpy, then we define X and Y, and then we define the vector P. Then we define the scaling matrix, which is S. So now we have a scaling matrix looks like this. So now we can determine P prime using matrix multiplication S and the input point. Then we have the output P prime is 30 by 20. So that is using matrix notation. But we can also using normal notation by this formula to check if the matrix notation is working or not. So it's very simple. We have X and Y here. We have scale in X direction and scale in Y direction. Then we can calculate output X prime and Y prime in X direction. And we can compare with matrix notation. We can see that the results are the same. And that's it for 2D matrix notation or 2D matrix scaling of 2D Cartesian coordinates using Python.